Hello, everyone. Welcome to Poetry in Practice. This is a content warning. Because this is a live tabletop role-playing session, there will be detailed lists of creatures or plant-related phobias and triggers that would spoil the game for the players. So we understand if you decide not to watch or tune out when something disturbs you as a viewer. Detailed content warnings about specific animals, insects, plants, etc. will be provided in the description post-stream when we put it up on YouTube, video on demand. This game, however, will never involve heavy drug use, slavery, sexual assault, the glorification or glamorization of sexual and murderous predators, abusers, nor will it delve into sacrificial rituals and anything that involves the harm of children. Okay, this is a campaign that deals with heavy themes related to various literary themes, including man against man, man against nature, man against himself, and man against the gods. This is a game that thrives on character development and role playing, with combat and adventure as supporting cast members. All players have had and maintained communication about their own lines and veils, and safety tools are being used behind the scenes. Thank you.
Alrighty then. It always makes me kind of feel warm and fuzzy when someone reads that out loud. I usually just kind of send it around to people and it just makes it sound all official. Welcome everyone to Poetry in Practice. Yep, that's what I named this because I am a professional and remembered that. Uh, I want to go ahead and let everyone who's tuning in that may have seen this through a retweet, but what haven't really kept up with what Everyone Games actually is working on and what it is. Everyone Games is a yearly event run by the Knights of Braille Gaming to help raise money and awareness so everyone can game. Everyone Can is a charity providing a unique mixture of technology and video games to bring fun to the next level for everyone. So, with your help, we can meet the increasing demand of young people with disabilities wanting to join in on the fun with other non disabled people, helping them to become part of the society. Stack Up, which you may have also seen in the descriptions or on the various pages, brings both veterans and civilian supporters together through a shared love of video gaming. PTSD, depression, and emotional distress affect millions of individuals and are a leading cause of isolation and suicide within the veteran community. Simply Crates and the Stack Up Overwatch program are designed to watch over the veteran community and provide critical support through round the clock access to a team of trained and certified crisis management volunteers. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. We have a wonderful group of people here that are playing. If it's the first time of you ever seeing my face or hearing my voice, I am Honey, aka Honey and Dice. You can find out more about what I do over on Twitter at Honey and Dice. You can also go to honeyanddice.com. And today I have the absolute honor of being your DM for this amazing little 5e one shot. I'd love to go to each of my players, let them tell you who they are and who and what they will be playing. And then we will slip right into this poetic piece of play. So, let me start out. Let me pull up my cheat sheet here. Um, with Jane, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and who you will be playing?
Hi, I'm Jane. I was one of the donors who was lucky enough to get to be on these streams. So I'm very excited to be here, especially as I'm something of a forever DM. And I will be playing Demivia or Demi, who is an Owlin rogue.
Alrighty. Johnny, aka Cerulean Rex.
Hi there. Johnny King is my name, and as you heard, Cerulean Rex is my handle in the gaming world. And today I will be playing a very old character of mine that I pulled out of mothballs for a special occasion here. Uh, I'm playing the Elven Cavalier, Salim Fanonen de Sanara. But if you are not accustomed to the fluid speech of my race, you may simply call me Sarlane, as many of my friends do.
Alrighty then. Distortion Devil.
Howdy, everyone. I'm Distortion Devil. People call me either DD or Connor, but either is fine. And I'm playing Cypherius Cypher Keystone, the human fighter.
All right. Drunken Bard.
I am Drunken Bard, and I will be playing Pluck, the Kinku Bard.
Alrighty then. Luke.
Hi, I'm Luke Gygax. I'm a recently retired Army veteran. I also organize GaryCon and run a little print publishing company called Gaxworks. Today I'll be playing Shelly, the turtle druid.
All right, and last but certainly not least, T1J.
Hello, I'm Kevin, also known as T1J, and I'll be playing Sunny, the Tiefling Cleric.
All right, and there you have it, the amazing cast and character list for today's adventure. So, let's get started. Love is a beautiful and tumultuous variable. It colors the world in shades that are far past numerable. But when a picture comes into focus, the passion and purity of it all seems all but immutable. And so this story begins with two souls who wish to be one, two families who wish this union to be done, but traditional onus has not been met, and so for now there's no way to move on. You see, stories are told to commemorate the past, to explain the present and the future to the last. And so, in this world of literary demand, a marriage cannot be official until this one final task. The tome of tomorrow, the book of becoming. Every family has a record of new starts and new journeys, but the groom of this story's family had fled, so no record in town could be found of their doings. One record exists in a library afar. Like most adventures, this mission seemed on par, but no one has returned with the tome having been fetched. And that's why this group of adventurers are. So welcome to the city of Amphic. Small as it might be, it is quite fragrant. Perfumers and apothecaries are aplenty in this town where the senses are never vacant. The notice said as much. 100 gold pieces to each if the record is returned. 500 gold worth of ointments and elixirs will also be earned. A seat of honor for the heroes of the hour if they do everything within their power to bring back this book, to record this event, so this married couple's wedded bliss can begin. So this merry band of adventurers was brought together, I am assuming, because that invitation for quite a bit of gold, should you succeed, of just go find a book and bring it back, is probably quite tempting to a lot of people. But I will not presume the motivations for someone else's character. And we'll go to each person and let them describe their character and what drove them to accept the invitation to take on this task. And I'm going to do this in a random way, and we'll start with Puck.
So, Pluck is what I would describe as a chaos chicken. He is a small crow, approximately the size of a large turkey, with a nice little leather vest, very polite demeanor, and soulless, vacant eyes with not a single thought going through his head at any given time.
And what drove him to accept the invitation for this mission?
Of course, being a crow, that would be the goal.
All right. So when Pluck arrived at the destination, the meeting point, what would he be doing as he waits by this crossword area?
More than likely looking around again with the vacant expression, just very lost, wondering when he gets to go do something.
So we'll go to Sarlane.
In traveling these lands, I've heard the offer of the gold, but what is more important to me is the people. So striding up the walk to the household of the family where um, the young woman's um, place, Sarlane presents himself as a young noble elf, young to some, and he wishes to learn if the two people are deeply in love, and if they are, that is the reward he seeks. He seeks to bring them together and help them. The money he will not refuse. There are expenses, but this, if that is satisfied, then he knows he must undertake the quest on behalf of them. And that is what the Silver Knight will endeavor to do. And so all black and silver, he strides away, ready to meet with whomever answers this call and throw in his efforts with them.
All right, so we have Pluck and we have Sarlane waiting at this crossroads, and it's a default crossroads. It's a dirt crossroads. There's a thin pole with two battered pieces of wood at the top pointing in random directions that everyone somehow can read, even though the paint is long chipped off and faded, but it's there. So apparently it's pointing in the right direction. And as Pluck and Sarlane wait, the sun is not yet high in the sky. We will bring Sunny into the scene. I think you may be on mute.
Sorry. So yeah, Sunny is a tiefling with kind of dark magenta-ish skin, and he's uh he's got sort of like shaggy, um, like chin length hair and like a five o'clock shadow, and he's got on like kind of bulky armor, but it's not like the nicest armor, probably just picked up at, the discount armor place. And the money is good, but really I'm here to help. I'm trying to do some good and have a little fun along the way.
Alrighty then. And then as time goes on, we bring Shelly into the.
Hey man, far out. I'm Shelly. Peace. I came on this righteous mission because it's for all the right reasons. LOVE. It unites everyone in the cosmos. And this town has the most far out and groovy incense, and I just want to get my hands on some of that. So, peace and love. And Shelly is a turtle druid, and he wears a tunic that has ever shifting colors in like red and blue, and it's kind of swirling patterns that are distracting to the eye.
Alrighty then. Demivia.
So nobody sees Demivia arrive. One moment she's not there, and the next she is sitting on top of this crossroad post. Who'd pulled up, sort of chewing on a pipe like Aragorn in the corner of the prancing pony. She is an owlin, so she is a small humanoid owl person. She's a little under 3 feet tall. She's got sort of dappled grey feathers. She's wearing quite worn but obviously well cared for leather armour, with a very shiny and new looking crossbow strapped to her back. Demivia is here because she has a very kind and lovely friend who set her up in business with just a teensy tiny loan that the interest rates are really very reasonable, provided she can keep paying them off very quickly. So she's quite keen to be here.
And last but certainly not least, as everyone is gathered at the crossroads, we bring in Cypher.
Yes, Cypherius Keystone the Lesser, Cypher to his friends and loved ones, is a tall, stout, and strapping man in his prime, donning an outfit of ochre and armor of black and gold trim. He has medium-length ashen blonde hair with a short, stubble beard, sun-kissed skin, and oddly scarlet eyes for a human.
And what brought him to this particular call for assistance?
He seeks glory not for himself, but for his family, as they are known to have done a great wrong to the land, and he seeks to right it in any way he can.
All right, far out. That's heavy. That's heavy, Cypher. All right.
And noble.
And Demi, I hear you, man. The man's leaning on me all the time too. Usury's a real bummer.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. It's something I can keep on top of. Do we have a plan? I feel like we should have a plan.
I think that there's like an order to the whole universe, and that's why when I look at the stars, it really helps me. I can sit and meditate. I mean, you guys want to sit down and smoke and meditate for a little while? I've got a drum. We could like bring out some smooth rhythms and see what's going on. Nope, no, we don't have time for that.
A tempting offer, but I feel as though we may be losing time if we did that.
Okay, all right. We'll just go with the flow, man.
Demivia puffs on her pipe, and lots of little tiny dragons appear in the smoke. They look agitated.
Okay. So as everyone is gathered at the crossroads, the instructions were quite clear. Follow the only sign that you can read. Down the road for about an hour and a half. Up the hill, and at the top, can't miss it, is the only building for about 10 to 15 miles. A dilapidated, yet still dignified sort of looking structure. An old library, perhaps, that rests at the top of this hill. The windows are boarded up. There's no one coming in and out. It's got sort of that grayish brown coloration that abandoned buildings often have. But at the top of that hill sits where their last locate object spell pointed to. And they said, at least you have more information than the others did. And the only information they gave about the others was they sent one a month ago, that person never came back. They sent someone a couple weeks ago, those people didn't come back. And they're really about to lose the deposit on the wedding hall that they rented, so it is quite pressing for them to find this book. What do
Therefore,
this
time
band
is
of
of the
adventurers
essence.
do? It is. What does this band of adventurers do? How do they proceed on their journey?
Pluck just kind of looks around at everybody, shrugs, and then starts trotting down the road.
Oh, should we get...
Sarlene
Okay.
puts on a silvered griffin head helmet. I think he's got the right idea. I shall follow along.
Well, since everyone is doing it, and walk along right behind him.
Demivia takes flight and flies at the back. She's a bit concerned. Her day vision is less good than her night vision.
Is
Hey.
the
Hey, man, wait up. I'll start going.
is there just like a big main door on the building? And is it like, is the door itself boarded up or just like the windows?
When you approach the library, and we will fast forward a little bit because nothing's going to happen on the road to the library. There's no surprises. There's nothing that pops out. It's just a straight shot. There's not even lovely like scenery. It's just dirt road, a couple of rocks, those scraggly looking trees that look like they had like the afterthoughts of a description. And so the door is boarded. These thick wooden planks that in and of themselves look old.
Can I have a quick scout around the building, see if there are alternate ways in?
Okay. I'm going to make a note that Demiria is looking around it. Sunny, the follow-up thought to that inquiry?
Well, I was just mainly just collecting information. Do we know anything specific about the building? Like, is this a place that we already are familiar with, or just kind of
You all
getting
can
there
do
for
a
the first time?
history check for me,
Sure.
if anyone wants to roll history.
Ooh. I believe I will
I
do
will
that.
try.
Not great at it, but 16.
Okay.
Looks like Sarlene had a 23.
Seems about right. A 10.
Okay. So I had a 16, a 20, an over 20, a 10. Did anybody else roll?
I rolled an 8.
Okay.
I'm
All
pretty sure I have not been here before.
Hey, man, I don't have much history, but I got a nat 20, so 21 total.
Going with the flow gets you that.
That's that. You've been to this town probably quite often to get that wonderful incense,
Oh,
and they
right,
have
yeah.
amazing candles and so on. And for other people who got over a 16, hearsay that there used to be a very famous library. It belonged to the Fellow family. They had every scroll, it seemed, that was in existence. They had every tome that seemed to be missing. But not everybody had access to this library. The people who were seeking actual knowledge. And who knows how they determined people with righteous intentions and people with not righteous intentions. It's all very mysterious. But it was a library that if you really wanted to learn for the right reasons, you could come in. If not, many adventurer tried to force their way in or go steal something, and it ended poorly. About 50, 55 years ago, people stopped whispering and talking about the library as a destination. It was just more like a folk tale, or there were little campfire songs about the Library of Knowledge, the Fellow Families library. But this building meets all those descriptions. And for the people that got under a 10, you're absolutely sure that you have been to a haunted house that looked like this before, but you may not be sure if this is the one because it was on a hill somewhere and it didn't look welcoming. But like you've definitely seen this building before.
So Pluck just kind of stares at this building, and his little beady eyes go wide, and his feathers start to fluff up. He shakes himself out, and then just trots up and starts trying to pry a board off the door.
Okay. I love math. Can you go ahead and roll me a charisma saving throw, please?
Let's see. That would be a 11.
Cool. You feel a shudder go through your body. Nothing negative, nothing that feels like, oh, something's wrong with me, but there's a chill when you pry that first board off. If anyone has any divine senses, or if anybody has anything that can pick up on things, you definitely know that there isn't a spell effect on Pluck at the moment. But what it is not really showing up.
Hmm. Is there any can I see any symptoms, or is there any physical evidence of this spell, or is he acting a certain way?
Give me an Arcana check.
That is a natural one.
No, you can't tell what it is. You probably inhaled too much dust.
Be careful there, friend.
So this is perfect timing, by the way. My Discord crashed, so I didn't hear what you said actually happened. So Pluck just kind of snoodles and looks at you and looks back and shrugs and steps back to let somebody else handle it.
Okay. And for the next minute, and thankfully we're not in combat, and for the curious people watching or listening, our dear little friend is under the effect of a bane. Does anybody else want to make any attempts towards the door? Or give me a second. Demivia, you were going around the building to look for other entrances. Give me perception or investigation.
Yep. That's a 14 on investigation.
It looks like every window of this particular building has been boarded up. And when the sun hits certain windows in certain ways, there's almost like a shimmer effect over the wood as different beams of light seem to pick up on various wards and so on that protect this building.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the group. I'm going to say, well, it all seems quite magical and also quite inaccessible, which I guess is why they're paying us. Does anybody have a good idea?
No, but I'm going to walk up and tear a board off that door.
Well, it's an idea.
Well, now wait a moment.
I mean, I have something I can try.
So, sequence of events. Would you all interfere before Sarlane's attempt to rip the board off, or would you wait to see what happens?
I saw Pluck react pretty negatively to trying to pry a board off, so I would probably try to stop them before they went ahead and tried another one.
Okay. Now we have two options here. We can say for narrative flow that you do, or I can have you both do dexterity rolls to see who was faster.
I like rolling dice.
Yeah, let's let the dice decide.
Okay.
Just a dexterity check then.
Yes, just a dexterity check.
That'll be a 14 for me.
I have a 16.
All right.
Starling's rather light on his feet.
Wait,
He actually, he'll look back at you as you say that. He's like, he thinks to himself, I hope he didn't have a good idea. He's just laid his hands on it, and he's getting ready to yank
Okay.
with his strength. So
I do need you to make me like a strength, just a basic strength check, and then you get to roll a lovely d6.
25 on the strength.
Oh yeah, okay. And just go ahead and roll me a d6.
3.
A 3. All right, I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I would enjoy to. Con save. Oh, proficiency bonuses go in. Oh, yes. Okay. That one, it does for him. That's right. Not awesome. 10.
Okay, so two things happen at once, and well, unfortunately, everyone would be in about a 50-foot radius if everyone is close to the door. When Sarlane pries that piece of wood off of the door, there is a flash of, it should be bright light, but it's this murky grayish sort of aura that radiates from the board. People can make a dexterity saving throw, as all of a sudden up is down and down is up, and it seems like in this area their gravity has been reversed as everyone begins to float up. Now you can do a dexterity saving throw to grab onto something or so on to prevent your floating, but everyone begins to float up after that board is pried off.
Any bonus for being right near a door where I could grab wood?
You can go ahead and do a dexterity saving throw to try to grab onto it to avoid going up high.
Sure.
It's not going to do it for me. That's a natural 1.
Critical. 23.
Okay.
I have both a flying speed and a natural 1. So Demivia attempts to do a barrel roll out of the way of this effect and slams straight into the side of the building.
Okay. Sunny, what did you get?
I rolled a 17 on dex save.
Okay.
And I rolled a 15.
Okay.
Yeah, Shelly rolled a 4, and he's like, whoa. He's like staring at his hands and like kind of floating backwards up. Whoa, this is cool.
Okay. Thankfully.
Is it possible to try to grab somebody once I've got myself secured? Whoever's closest, who might be floating.
Okay, this is how we'll do this. Thankfully, because all of these old buildings and all of these stories seem to have like the entrance and it's like a porch and there's a door and then there's like an overhanging thing. Thankfully, it means no one's going to float up into the sky. There is a limit to how high they can float. For those of people who got a 13 or above on this particular save, they can grab onto a piece of banister or so on to avoid floating up towards the top of this covered porch. Those of you who failed are floating People can grab them if they want to. Like, I'm not going to make someone roll to grab someone who is not beyond their reach. But for a good minute or two, you all are experiencing a reverse gravity spell. But the board is off the front door.
How high is the are people floating? Like how high is the highest that someone is floating?
I'm
I'd
really
say about
high.
15 feet.
Okay.
That's all.
I say all right, brace yourself. And I succeeded my save, so I kind of holding on to something, and then I want to cast Dispel Magic on the anti-gravity effect.
Alrighty then. I'm going to say that goes ahead and succeeds because I'm not about to roll for a door against that dispel magic spell and how this works. But you all see a shimmer across the front of the door when that dispel magic happens. Those of you who are floating are no longer floating. Give me
Is
a
it a
dexterity
is it a
saving throw right quickly. I
yeah?
just thought about something. I
I
did.
was about to
Dude.
say, is it a gradual process or is it all at once? Cause
Yeah, I need dexterity saving throws from people who were not holding on to anything.
That's a
Roll.
natural 20 for 27. I've remembered I can fly.
A 17
Rolling.
for me.
rolling hot tonight. 10. Ah!
Did anybody get like under a 14? I heard a 10. And pluck?
Oh, I made the first deck save to
Okay.
grab onto something.
All right. So, oh, poor Cypher today. Um,
Not his
everyone
day.
else is in. And what did Shelly get?
I got a 17.
Okay. So everybody except for Cypher is able to like hold on to whatever they gripped onto and uh lower themselves down or wait until they're lowered down, or like Shelly was able to finally grab onto something and avoid just slamming to the ground. But Cypher, unfortunately, hits that wooded porch, and there's like a small cloud of dust that kind of woofs up from the planks. Only 1 point of damage. Just one. As the door doesn't seem to be bespelled anymore.
Offer Cypher
And
hand up.
He grabs her hand and pulls himself up. Why is it monsters I can handle? Why is it always doors?
I did say brace yourself.
You did say that.
You did? I heard. You were very clear.
Sunny man, you gotta be like more warning if you're gonna harsh my mother, dude. Okay, just like it's a cool, but just chill a little bit. But now, I was remembering this place had like a spell on it, so only the most righteous people could enter because it was like a house of learning for the people. It wasn't like for the man and the establishment. You had to be in there like a righteous heart to go in there. So maybe we got to get our chakras aligned before we go in there. So I've got some crystals. So I'm going to break out some crystals and I'm going to start trying to like align people's chakras and make sure that they got the right like headspace before we go in.
Pluck is just going to kind of awkwardly sidestep away and then try to squeeze through the boards.
Cypher.
Crystals,
What is
they're
he
not
doing?
charged, are they?
Oh, they only have like the right healing powers to get you in balance. I can see your aura. It's like just a little bit off, but I can.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Hey, I'm down for that.
people can do strength saving throws in order to get the rest of those boards off of the front. Pluck, if you want to give me an acrobatics check to see if you can squeeze and wiggle yourself through.
I actually
can?
have a crowbar. I could probably pry the rest of those boards off with that.
Okay.
Is Pluck
I got a 25.
Go right ahead and pry those boards off. Nothing else startling happens because of that dispel magic. Anyone with good hearing can give me a perception check, though.
I'll do that. It's a 23.
Well, you hear the telltale sign of something slowly but surely starting to power back up. That kind of. So time is probably of the essence to get in if you all are going.
All right. Yeah, I think we need to get in here quickly.
Yeah, I'm prying the boards off and just gonna go for it.
I'll help
Alright.
Cypher if I can.
I believe the
Well,
crowbar gives me advantage on this.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
All right, so-
I'll cast guidance on you as you
Ooh,
use the
So
crowbar.
much obliged.
count this at advantage, so I'm assuming everyone is helping in their
Good
own
thing
way.
too. That's another natural one.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Well,
get ready, because the next one's a 7 plus.
Shelly will go ahead and like activate his primal savagery with some dripping poison claws and like start shredding through the door because he's pretty buff. He's got 18 strength, so he'll start whacking away at this thing. Be like, "You can't bar the people from the house of knowledge." Start ripping at it.
Got the crossbow struggling over there to get.
With advantage and guidance, I got an 8.
Oh. So it
This
just
is just me in virtual tabletops.
Doors, man.
Can't
The-
even
the
escape
s-
the curse, not even for charity.
the struggle is real, but you all do get through that door. It's shredded from claws and it's got pieces of board that's half broken off and so on. It's not a very elegant sort of entry, but I should let the dice decide. Who wants to just roll me a straight nat 20? Nat 20, a d20. Hopefully it'll be nat, but a d20. Who wants to roll for the group? Just one d20.
I'm pretty scared at this point. I think someone else should do it.
I mean, I'll roll. My rolling is terrible, by the way. FYI, I'm a horrible roller, but I'll do it. All right, here goes
Okay.
nothing.
Do it.
Here goes nothing. Roll for everybody. A 7.
Oh, okay. I thought, I gotta pull something up real quick.
If it's something I can use a luck point on, I will. I have feat luck, so if you allow me to re-roll it, I will.
Go ahead and re-roll it. Let's
All
just
right.
tell a good story.
All right, here goes with a little luck. Oh boy, much better. An 8.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Hashtag worth it.
Yes, this is the best group that could have been hired. Okay.
Inflation, man. That 100 gold pieces isn't what it used to be.
Okay. As you all enter, it is a library after all, so this makes sense. You all realize that you can't really hear yourself breathe or the sound of your feet against the wooden floors, or even the sound of a couple of the boards falling away as you finally make your way in, because everyone in this group is now under the effect of the silence spell. As you enter the library. What's, irony? It's dark and dusty. But unlike most magical locations where it's bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside, this looks much smaller on the inside than it does. It just looks like a single office, one room location. There's a front desk with a large sign that simply says, "Please be quiet. No eating or drinking here. Behave or perish." Signed, the librarian. And on the singular desk in the middle of this empty room is a large, thick book that has inscribed in several languages all on the front of it, open to find what you seek.
So as Pluck notices the silencing effect, he's kind of like shuffling around, and then he kind of taps his foot a couple times. He sees the feathers kind of ruffle up, and he looks over and grabs a board and just starts violently banging it on the floor, because why isn't it making noise?
Demivia looks at the book and gestures at the book, and then tries to make a gesture that means trap? Question mark?
Okay. You
Is this
said
the book they seek?
Pluck was banging a board against the floor, correct?
Yes.
So I need everyone to roll initiative.
Way to go, Pluck.
And let me see what each person gets. We'll go from person to person. Shelly?
11.
11. Demivia?
That's another nat 1 for 5.
Okay.
Going very well.
It's going lovely. Oh, I broke the D&D Beyond screen. Excuse me, give me a second. Manual entry.
We broke the website.
I'm an expert. 11, 5. Pluck?
15.
15. Starlane?
16.
15 or 16?
16.
16.
1
All
6.
right. Sunny?
Rolled a natural 20.
Oh, well,
plus 0.
okay. Okay. So, Sunny is up first. Well, just a minute. Let me roll all of these other initiatives. Good Lord. Oh, Cypher.
6.
Okay. That is amazing. Yes, Honey is not in black and green anymore because Honey realized a special setting was on Discord that was making me look like a Batman villain. And I turned that off and it was all fixed. So, let me roll initiative for all of these lovely surprises.
Oh no.
I love surprises.
11 plus. Um, 15. All right. So we're ready to go. The banging on the floor all of a sudden becomes loud for every single person there. And it's more of a shock because it was complete silence, and then now you hear the banging. And with a swirl of dust, uh, there's suddenly a spectral figure at the desk, ghostly in presence, a feminine like form that keeps shifting between someone with long flowing hair and then someone with a severe top knot, and then someone with a little uh, too much bang but too little length of hair. And the image seems to continue shifting and flickering every couple of seconds. Um, but the one thing that doesn't change is the pair of glasses pulled down to the end of their nose as they stare at you all with a look of, even with no pupils or irises and kind of like empty eye sockets, it's an obvious look of disappointment that this spectral figure has as they point to the sign, then move their fingers to their lips and go, um, and we will start with Sunny. How would you like to proceed? Um, and yes, I didn't have you all roll initiative for nothing. There is a reason, even though nothing has popped up and attacked you yet. Somebody rolled a nat 20 for their initiative, so I have to wait. Um, how would you like to proceed when the silence spell drops? The spectral figure um, appears at the desk, uh, and there's this brief moment where you are able to react first.
Uh, do I mean, does it look like this person is a physical threat to us, or did they just, uh, or just they just there right now?
Just there right now.
Um, I'm just going to, I don't know. Uh, I'm going to reach to my side and just pull out a dagger, which is a little bit unusual for a cleric, but I have a dagger, and I just kind of hold it at the ready. Um, can I just maybe use my action to take a look around? Like that's sort of this figure is like the most obvious thing, but is there like anything else maybe that I missed around the room?
There's that large book that suddenly thuds open on her desk that had said, "Opened to seek what you to find what you seek." Um, Outside of that, the desk and the spectral figure and far too much dust. Um, and of course, your lovely party here. That is all that is in this room.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna, I'm not sure if a fight is about to happen, so I'm just gonna hold my dagger because I'm a little bit at uh on caution right now.
Okay. Starlane, you're up.
Starlane looks at her and his eyes narrow. He is easing his sword out of its sheath and taking a couple of quiet steps toward his avian friends, sort of interposing himself slightly, waiting to see what happens.
Okay. Would you like to prepare an action or just
That's a good
hold and
question.
see?
Yes, ready in action to let's ready in action to attack any figure that makes a hostile move toward one of my friends here.
Okay. I'm about to write this on a paper because I keep forgetting I have to go back to this window. Pluck. Surprisingly enough.
So after, noise starts happening and she appears, Pluck just halts and looks up. And will very slowly and cautiously put the board down and step into his big scary friend Sarlane. And he's just gonna hold.
All right. Now it is her turn. And she looks at you all like really disappointed, like sees the dagger, seems to clock the slight defensive stance. Looks back to the book and the sign, looks at you all, and then let me just go ahead and roll. Okay. You all see she takes a seemingly deep breath. Who knows? It's a ghost or a specter. And I need you all to make a charisma saving throw, please.
13.
14.
20.
14.
Okay.
Best roll of the night is a 12.
13 for Shelly.
Going up.
If you got a 13 or higher, you're okay. If you got a 13 or less, you cannot speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. And you're aware of this. Like, you have this, like, everything that you may or may not have wanted to say or share. You know, when somebody's like, I know what you're thinking, and all of a sudden you think about all the things that you really wouldn't want anybody to know that you're thinking about, that kind of stopped up kind of feeling will hit you if you got a 13 or less. As she asks, what are you here for?
You're here for a book.
She pauses for a moment, and there's a flicker about like 4 or 5 faces before she's okay. That's on me. I need to be more specific. It's a library. Everyone is here for a book or a scroll. What? No, it's been a couple decades. And she sort of flips through the book for whatever script she needs to. What is it? What knowledge is it that you seek?
The Fellows Library is supposed to have a particular book. I had rolled a 20 earlier on the history. I lay it all out for her exactly. Naming the book,
Oh,
who wrote it, who kept the journals, who worked on it, etc. Copyright. Give her the pub date.
and it's like she's like, there's moments where you can tell, okay, and you keep going. She's like, what? And then finish. Would you like to tell me where the materials to make the book were imported for before I continue, or should I just go ahead with my part now?
Not certain I was alive quite that long ago, but I shall let you please proceed. Thank you. Most gracious.
Yes, the book you seek can be put together in 3 parts. This is the Fellows Library, which means the knowledge that you seek, you must find, and it would not be as interesting of an experience if I simply just popped a book into existence and you had it. Are all of you on this particular quest for knowledge? Like you're together as a group?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I ask? You
With
said
them.
it's been a couple of decades. Did nobody else come here looking for this book?
You all can make a persuasion check if you would like. Anybody who wants to look unassuming or encouraging or curious, as this question is asked, and go from there.
It's a 14 from me.
Okay.
Dirty 20 for Chili.
Dirty
Okay.
20 for pluck as well.
Okay.
I don't think
Getting
I'm gonna
higher.
roll that.
13.
I just put my dagger slowly back in the sheath. I don't think I'm gonna try to persuade right now because I had my weapon out.
Zarlane?
Well spotted. Oh, I'm pretty sure that Sonny's got exactly the right idea as I sheath the longsword. Just back up and let other people do the talking for a moment.
It's been a couple of decades. The last fellow who fellowed, well, it's always about the heart, isn't it? There was a breakup, a pretty bad breakup, and then suddenly nobody was coming anymore to this building, and everything is on lockdown. So that's why we're at security level 4, and you have to sign a waiver to continue past this part. That you will take 100% responsibility and accountability for any harm that might befall you on your journey towards knowledge, and that the Fellows Library is not liable for um, any pain, suffering, or potential death that may transpire.
Yeah, it's definitely like all of our like karmic, baggage that we carry if we harm other people unjustly. So yeah, I totally get it.
I don't really understand his legalese, but whatever he said.
Well, one of the things that I am good at is keeping people alive, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. I'm just. People were sent here before us. Did they not make it at all? It's fine if they're dead. We get that. We're not personally invested, but
I don't really know what happens after people come past this particular point. They might just be stuck in the library sometimes. The library is very temperamental like that. Um, but it seems like you all will be next. She's like, pulls out a spectral piece of paper, starts to write things down, and somehow every single one of your names she seems to already know as she writes it down on this spectral contract, folds it up, puts it inside of her desk, and then points to the book. All right, turn the page and you will be at the first step of your knowledge of your journey of knowledge. It's just so good to see people. Um, I've only been on this shift for 2 weeks. The specter before me wanted to go on vacation, is somewhere in a northern village in an old monastery right now, enjoying scaring tourists. So this is pretty much my first day. So it's good to see you all. Um, I hope you survive.
Pluck is going to kind of hop up her, waddle over to her, and dig around in the satchel for a minute, and then just get out a flower and hold it out to her because she seems like a nice ghost lady.
That is. Could you put it on my desk? I can't really touch it. I would love to touch it, but I can't touch anything that the library hasn't given me.
He just awkwardly puts it down and hops back down.
Hey, looks to the book, and whoever would like to turn the page, may turn the page.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Like Bob Segerman.
Yeah, I'll step forward and turn the page.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. And you all are basically caught up in a type of plane shift sort of effect, as all of a sudden the room that was quite empty, like a very barren office, is now you're in the stacks. That's the best way to describe it. You are in between two large bookshelves. The smell of old books, over accumulated dust, and so on fills your senses. The light here is dim, and there are just rows and rows and shelves of books for as far as the eye can see.
This place is trippy.
Yeah.
So all we have to do
Indeed.
is find a book in the library. That's
Well, oh, earn one. I think earn one was implied. Which makes me worried because she didn't say how.
The Spectre at the front desk made it seem like maybe is split into pieces, maybe? We need to locate.
Okay,
Not
so
sure.
should we
So
look
we
around
just-
for a piece of a book?
I guess that might be easier to find a piece of a book rather than a full book.
We are looking for marriage records, I believe. So, where would we
Alright.
go to find those?
So here's the fun dynamic going through this particular situation. You all can touch a book and pull it out and see what will happen, and there are certain effects from that. Or you all can start walking through and using investigation as you make your way down this hallway between the two books.
I'm going to try investigation.
Okay.
I would also like to do this. A very good investigation score.
Before we
Okay.
start walking off, I'm gonna go ahead and cast aid.
Thank you.
Which let's see. How many people are there? I'm gonna cast it at, I guess, 4th level so I can hit everyone.
Okay.
So your everyone's hit points increase by 50 since I cast
Okay.
it 4th level.
Wow.
You say 1, 5, 15?
Yeah,
Or...
15.
Okay.
Nice.
That's literally a quarter of my hit points.
I'm just gonna start like feeling the spirit of this place and just kind of like really getting into the really getting the groove. And I'm just gonna like start twirling, let my emotions and the humming kind of carry me, and then stop where I feel like the energy like focusing, and then I'm gonna check out that book.
All right. So you have two people doing investigation and one person selecting a book.
I
Right.
will also select a book.
Okay. So I need each person who selected a book, you're going to roll me a d6. Let's get those investigation rolls done.
16.
Okay.
10.
16, 10. Okay. Then we have a 1, and we have Pluck. What did you roll on your d6?
5.
A 1 and a Okay, so let's start with the description of the investigation results. You notice that every single shelf is lined with books that seem to have every shade you can think of. But how they've been placed on these shelves almost seems like there is nothing actually in each one of these books. They're just sort of like the covers. They're the bindings and so on. because a gentle tap or a gentle kind of wiggle of them or looking around them, there's no pages that kind of ruffle or press together. Somehow they're all in there perfectly lined up like there are pages, but this seems to be more of the binding of a book than the actual books. Now, on to our roles. When Shelley selects a book, I need everyone to give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Sorry.
18.
16.
16 as well.
17.
13.
Perfect.
I got a 7.
If you got under a 13, so you all start to feel the ground beneath you shake, tremor, like the mildest of an earthquake, or like the ground shaking because too many people are running nearby. And you hear the whisper of, "No running in the library!" But whatever spectral figures are causing these stampedes, if you got under a 13, you have been knocked prone and you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Which comes off of our temporary hit points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, son.
That aid came in clutch.
Well spotted.
And you start to see the shelves themselves seem to be swaying ever so slightly as a result of that. Because time is a timey-wimey wobbly thing, shortly after the earth starts shaking, the ground starts shaking, and Pluck also has selected a book. This one's not as bad, except sort of for Pluck. I need Pluck to make me a dexterity saving throw. Another one. It's okay.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what did you get?
It stopped popping up for me. What was that?
26.
You got a
It's a nat
26.
26.
Okay, so that was a nat 20. I just saw B and I didn't know if that was a 20 or a 1.
Oh, right.
It was a B,
So-
obviously.
You are quite fortunate, because you go to pull that book, it almost feels like it yanks itself away from you, floats and levitates a few feet away, and then comes hurtling straight towards you. But because of your dexterity saving throw, it kind of zips over your head and slams into the side of one of the shelves, and does not actually hit you when that happens. So, that was the result of people touching books. However, that spectral book that floated past you, that tried to attack you, is floating in the air and radiating with an energy. There's the sound of rustling pages that fills the air, almost like it's calling to its brethren as it floats there off of the shelf.
Certainly bizarre.
Does the tome have a cover that we can read or anything, or is that illegible at this point?
Oh, yes. I'm the cover says, the thoughts and feelings of the betrothed.
That's kind of sounds like what we're looking for.
Indeed. At least related.
So it's just sitting up there and rustling and making a bunch of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna use Mage Hand and see if I could poke at it and grab it.
All right. I allowed us to kind of fade in and out of initiative order because people made really great decisions. However, I would ask you all to reroll initiative, but for the sake of this being a charity stream and the fact that you all already rolled initiative and nothing really happened, we can keep that initiative order, which would work for the NPCs are already rolled up, or we can again roll initiative, for the poking of the book, which did indeed have an effect.
Let's
I'm okay
keep
with
it
saving.
if that plus work for you.
Yeah.
Save the time.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. You all see that one book seems to turn into two books. That two books seems to split into an airplane in the background. It starts to split into three books. Those three books split into four books, and before you know it, all of these books are flying off of the shelves and sort of turning into this swarm of a sorts, of all of these half corporeal and half spectral tomes. And they all have the most emo of titles related to relationships. There's the thoughts and feelings of the betrothed. There's a book about they don't know how it feels. There's another book of all the flowers smell like her. There's another book that's titled I Went to Cook a Cake and All I Could Do Was Cry. Like they're the most emo of titles that you can think of related to relationships. And that swarm has appeared and it is going to
Swarm.
sit where it is for now as it starts to build and grow. And at the top of the initiative order is Sunny.
Mm.
Um, let's see. I'll go ahead and how far are these books kind of generally away from the group?
I'd say they're probably about 10 feet away from you all. There's not a lot of room for you all to be spaced out. So, ooh, did we lose someone? Yes, we did.
Mm. There he's back.
Well, I'm going to I guess I'm gonna step back a little bit behind the group,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna cast bless on. I'll cast it on Cipher, Sarlane, and Pluck,
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna need it.
and I just kind of back up a little bit.
Oh, backed up too far. Backed up out of the call.
Fucked it.
And that'll end my turn.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to? Okay, you did your movement and any actions. Okay. Starlane.
So we have a swarm of books.
Mm-hmm.
Are they bearing down on us?
They are building at the moment. Like, they're
Building.
gathering together, so they haven't yet attacked.
I am going to draw my sword.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure my shield is limbered up and on my arm. Sword is back, and I'm going to ready an action. And I am near. I want to be near Pluck, and I think Demivia, are you close to that same location?
I guess so.
If so, that's wonderful. That's certainly wants to be close enough that if a book comes at one of them, he's going to try to cut it down before it could get to them.
Okay. Any bonus actions or additional movements? Just ready your action and that's it.
Just ready my action. That's really all.
Okay, Pluck. This book has declared war.
All right. So the Chaos Chicken will summon a cloud of daggers on top of it.
Nice.
All right. So that is a 5-foot square of ghostly daggers.
Okay.
The dice are twitching on my screen. There we go. For 17 damage.
Hey.
Does it make a saving throw or?
Oh shoot, no. I'm sorry, I got that out of order there. So it takes the damage whenever it enters the square or begins its turn in the square. Yep. That was my bad. I got excited. I saw lots of dice numbers.
It's there. It cannot and when its turn comes, which it's we're not rushing because it's there, like it's next in the initiative order. Takes 44 slashing damage when it starts its turn there. So
8d4 because I cast it at level 4.
Good gracious alive. Okay, 8d4. And for that was 17 points of damage?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You see, and for book lovers, this is probably painful to witness. You see these ghost knives just slice and shred into these ancient-looking books, and with each book that gets skewered or torn asunder, there's, an echo or a quote from the book. And yet I plucked the flower and could not smell its scent because my heart no longer lies. And no, I don't resent. Like, it's badly written poetry that gets quoted from every one of these books that gets destroyed. There's another one that's like, I can't write a high. Who needs how many syllables? I can't believe she left me. Like, it's just every single thing that's destroyed lets out another random quote of this horrific poetry from these books. And so we'll move on to the next person in the order. Trying to keep up on this thing. That would be Shelley.
All right. I'm going to be like holding my ears and be like, "You're harshing my mellow." And I'm going to cast Thunder Wave at 3rd level. It's 48 damage. It's a 15-foot cube in the center of the swarm of books.
Okay. Thunder Wave.
And it's a Constitution save of 15 for half.
Okay. Constitution saving throw for a book. Oh, they actually do have one. Okay.
Wow. Really
Did you have
terrible damage. I did 9, so that'd be 9 points of damage or save for 4.
Sorry, did the book swarm get a turn? Or did it just take the damage and not do anything?
The book swarm did something, but it wasn't an attack. That's why we moved on to Shelley. It
It's
took
like
all of its
Vogon
damage.
poetry.
I was saying it made us listen to the poetry.
Yep.
We're lucky we
Psychic
didn't take
damage.
psychic damage.
Nope. Now,
Are you sure you
here's the
didn't?
interesting thing. Because of the description of Thunderwave, as a DM, I have a challenging decision to make.
It's pretty loud.
Does thunder, when it causes damage, technically make a sound?
Yeah, it's 300 foot,
Because
can be heard within 300 feet.
based on how it's described, it sounds like Thunderwave makes a sound.
It makes a very loud sound that you can hear for 300 feet away, according to the.
Yep. So, it
Uh-oh.
did 9 points of damage. But you made a sound, and you see another swarm of books start to build about 5 feet away from the current swarm that is decimated by that thunder wave. Like, the books start dropping more horrific poetry. There's one poem that just sounds like somebody put a finger on the O key on a keyboard and just kept pushing it. It's just O written over and over and over again. It makes this spectral ooh sound. Because that swarm is decimated, but another one starts to build, and you just hear again, "This is a reminder. In the library, please be quiet. No eating or drinking here. Behave or perish." Signed, the librarian.
So as a bonus action, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and assume starry form. So I just kind of become like a constellation instead of like a turtle constellation instead of yourself. So I look very cosmic. And I'm going to take on the archer form of that, which will allow me to make ranged radiant attacks later.
Okay. That is lovely. Brings us to Cypher.
So I see this identical cloud of books and pages start forming right next to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take note of the PA announcement, and I will. How high above us is this floating exactly? I assume it would be out of my reach if it's floating up in the air.
Yeah, it is about nobody in this. Well, you have Owlin, so they're shorter. For an average medium-sized person, this book swarm is about a good 2.5 feet up. It's not
2.5 feet.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Well within range then.
Mm-hmm.
Cypher is just going to unsheath his longsword and pull out his shield and just have them in his grip in a fighting stance, and he's just going to take a couple swings at the newly forming poetry books.
Okay.
He's had enough. Here we go. Here's my first swing. Soft 20.
Okay, yes.
You do have
that
bless,
hits.
by the way.
Yep.
Oh,
Gives you a D4.
right on. That would be a 22 then.
Yep, well, okay. That hits.
All right. Book Swarm is going to take 7 slashing damage.
Okay. And did you have another attack?
I sure do. Being over a level 5 as a fighter, I will roll once again. And that is a 16, but with bless, that'll be 19.
It's another painful sight, really, for people who love books. And for people who don't, they probably don't care. But it's this sword cutting through these half corporeal and half incorporeal books. Just on an ASMR level, it might be pleasant. Just the sound of a sharp sword cutting through books and pages falling. But it's
And
that echoing bad poetry. There's another one. Her hair was there. It was long and shiny like a glare. But I think she's sweet as a pear.
I thought you were
Oh,
gonna take
where did I go wrong? Like it's just it's
You went
heartfelt.
wrong when you started that song.
Okay. Um, and the swarm is decimated. And in the center, though, of these chopped up pieces of books, there's a softly glowing dark brown leather casing, the bindings. Nothing in it, but there is the bindings of a book.
No book block.
and this is what 10 slashing damage sounds like.
Hey man, it looks like we have to dispel this bad writing, and then the parts of the book, the Tome of Love, show up. And we can reconstruct it.
All
It's a
right.
theory.
Well, since I'm there, I'll go ahead and I'll examine the. You said it was glowing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll examine the glowing tome that is left over.
Okay. Do you want to give me a? Do you want to do an investigate or a perception check, depending on how detailed you're going to be?
Investigation is probably better.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that, unless I roll a 13.
It's a glowing piece of leather, um, that can be used to bind a book. The glowing could be because it's got a magical effect on it, or the glowing could be just to signify that it's special. Um, who has night vision?
I do.
Anyone with night vision gets a really trippy sort of. The optics of this piece is almost like watching something through a UV filter. Um, you get the feeling that whether it's in the light or whether it's in the dark, it'd probably be more like luminescent in the dark. That this book itself, the leather, is radiating um, that energy, not just a magical effect.
I'm gonna go ahead and reach out and touch it and say, librarian, is this what we're looking for?
You hear the sound almost like when you interrupt someone who's eating snacks or in the middle of drinking something or so on, and it's just like, please be quiet. No, what? Behave or perish. Signed, the librarian.
I'm gonna pick it up.
All right. And with that, you all seem to go through a different plane shift effect, and you are in a new setting. It's still the stacks, but instead of pages and pages, not pages, shelves and shelves and shelves of books, you see a whole bunch of little tiny cubicles full of scrolls. Um, However, the journey to these cubicles would be challenging because there's a lot of broken furniture. There's a lot of damaged floorboards. There's a lot of things in the way between you and where these cubicle of scrolls happen to be.
I can fly.
So
So can I go stay sort of 15 feet above floor level and go over there and have a look? See if it appears to me to be trapped or
I need you to give me two things. One, you can do your investigation roll, but I also need you to go ahead and roll me a d6.
absolutely. So it's a 14 on investigation.
Okay.
And that's a 6 on the d6.
Oh, I did. Oh,
That's not a good noise.
I forgot I put that one on there. So as you investigate, it looks like in this particular room there was the damage that was done doesn't look like somebody like broke anything deliberately, and it doesn't look like things are just old. There's a lot of signs of like water damage, and like something flooded through here, and the force of that particular water probably caused a lot of the damage. The only thing in this room that is not damaged happens to be those cubicles full of scrolls. So, I need everyone in this room to go ahead and roll me two things, a perception check and then a strength saving throw.
And I would just want to chime in here real quick. I think we're just a little bit past midpoint, by the way. Perception and strength saving throw, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Perception.
Got 17.
Oh, wow.
Perception.
I got 27. So I perceive whatever that was. I rolled a nat 20. I'm very in tune with the cosmos.
14 perception.
I got an 8. I'm just a clueless chicken.
24
My
on the strength
strength-
saving throw.
My strength saving throw is a 15, all things
Mhm.
considered, and my perception check was another natural one.
So my perception was a 17, and my strength saving throw was a natural 1.
Hey,
16 on perception, 17 on strength save.
Yeah, it was a 27 perception, 11 on strength.
Honey, you're looking
Hi.
very concerned, and that's making me concerned.
Wow. Okay, people with that got over a 15 in perception. The scent of, how do I describe this? Whether it's a soda, a cup of tea, stagnant ale, cup of water, things that have been sitting too long in a cup and abandoned. A
Kombucha.
variety of different sources, that sort of aged, tepid scent that you can almost taste just from the smell. That fills your senses, along with the faint sound of trickling water, as you start to notice what seems to be a little bit of a drip from the ceiling starts to drip a little bit more insistently, and then it's almost like it's raining this tepid water from the ceiling. And then the floorboards seem to be soaking from below as well with this particular water. And if you weren't really paying attention and you took a step forward or so on, you are now prone. Um, as you trip or the sensation of water touching your foot or your skin unexpectedly knocks you on your behind. As this particular room seems to be filling with water and quite quickly.
So Demivia, fluttering upwards, go,
Mhm.
guys, I think this room may be flooded. Or oh,
Yes.
Um,
I'm just face planted in the back.
Yep.
just
Mhm.
um, and you see these tiny, tiny, tiny. We may not even see them, but there's these tiny, tiny, tiny little mites that love to be in areas where wood or grout or tile has been damaged by water, and they're usually fairly harmless. But you see clouds of those, so to speak, floating on the surface of the water as if they have created their own raft for survival, as more water floods into the room.
That's
Um,
nasty.
and with that lovely mental image, I think we're going to take a quick 5-minute break and then return to see how our band of adventurers deals with this new situation.
See if we can find that drain plug. Be right back.
thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I hope you took time to stretch, to hydrate, get a snack if that's what you're into. We definitely took time to get ready as we continue on this journey for knowledge. Before the break, we were in the second phase of this adventure, and there's water coming from the ceiling and water coming from the floor and rafts of tiny, tiny little mites floating on the surface of this water. And just beyond everyone's reach, cubicles full of tiny scrolls. And if I'm not mistaken, a member of our party also has the leather bindings of a book. But that's just it. It's the leather binding. Um, and that's where we begin. We were actually still, amusingly enough, in initiative order. Demevia's discovery, then the insects showing up. So now we're back at the top of our initiative. With Sunny, who was one of our unfortunate victims of surprise water.
Well, I get up off the ground because I definitely rolling that one on my strength check. Um, and I guess how far away are these cubicles?
I want to say they're about 60 feet away from you, but it is a technicality would be a difficult terrain.
Okay. Um, I guess I'll just start walking, just trudging my way towards the scrolls, and I guess I'll just use my turn trying to get as close as I can.
Okay, and what do you have a movement of?
I have a movement of 20.
20, so have to get about 10 feet for you have to like wade in some water, get yourself over something, but you can use your
Yeah,
the
I
dash.
suppose.
Look,
Yeah, I suppose I'll
technically
use
you
the
could
dash.
use the dash and move your full amount.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that. I'm not sure what else to do at this current moment, so I'll just dash forward, see if I can get closer.
So the mites get an attack of opportunity. But I'm pretty sure they're going to miss. So 14. Oh, why are they so strong? Oh, I made them. Does a 16 hit?
16 does not hit.
Good. Whew, that word. Oh no, my bad. A 17.
Still misses.
Good. All right. You kind of feel one of the rafts of mites kind of brushes past you, but you don't take any. You don't take any damage. They're not able to get to anything exposed to cause any damage. As you continue, Sarlane, you are up.
Is there any of our party still down? Knocked from their feet, prone, etc. Is there anyone else need of a hand up?
The check, so I believe I'm still prone.
That's what Sarlene should be working toward. He'll try to move to pluck and get pluck up and out.
Okay. There's no rules for that. You're just helping Pluck get to his feet. Okay.
And if we're close enough to a cubicle, go.
Okay, so you want to use your actions to place pluck upon a piece of furniture that is not in the water.
If as long as he's willing, sure. That's absolutely what I would love to do.
Okay.
Hand
Out
up.
of the
So,
water is rad.
all right. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn? I think that would be about your full movement in difficult terrain.
I will take stock of my present situation. Do I have threats around me? These
You
rafts
you have rafts of tiny mites.
everywhere?
Yeah, you can roll an insight check to see if they're mad or interested in anybody.
I would love to do that. 19 on that insight check. What are they about?
They're not happy. They want to see the manager, but they've wanted to see the manager for like 50 years. Because every time they like just going about their lives, water fills this up because somebody tries to go find a book and they've got to float around, and it's a whole thing. There's just a tiny little voice says, "I'm so sick of this. And we do this every 5 or 6 years. This is just the most. Come on, Billy. Kick with your feet. Kick with your feet. We gotta keep
Oh my
going."
gosh.
It's they're not having a good time. But that I mean they filled out the application. They knew what this job could potentially involve.
Angry yet
Security isn't
patient.
easy. um
Okay. No, I think that's about it for what I would want to do. I think I'll just take stock of that. Um, that's fine. I'm good.
Yep, they will attack you if they get the opportunity. That's the gist of it. That's what they're here to do. They've got one job to do, and gosh darn it, they're going to do it.
I see.
Um,
So in that case, then, is there any group of them close enough to me that are going to get that opportunity soon that I could reach out and
there are enough floating around where you could easily try to hit a raft of um, mites.
Sure. If that's doable, I'm going to take the flat of my sword and just slap it. Uh,
You're saying mites, right? Not mice?
Might.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
12 on the die roll to hit.
A 12 does not hit.
Okay, then.
To the left, to the left, to the left, very left, very left. They just steady on, my way. And they're just, in their
I
own
don't want to
world.
like these things, but I kind of love them.
That brings us to Pluck.
All right. So Pluck was rescued by his tall friend and set upon a piece of broken furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to attempt to. Can I make an acrobatics check to see if I can kind of like parkour over there?
You know what? I'll allow it. Let's make an
Okay.
acrobatics check and see how this goes.
All right, just a second. Of course, as soon as I start saying that, my Google Chrome crashes. Yay, technology. There we go. Okay, it's alive. So I will use the Kinku Recall to give myself advantage just in case, because I know how our rolls have been going tonight.
Sorry.
Fair.
Let's see. Oof. All right, highest roll was a 14.
Just for fun.
Is it really going to
Okay.
be fun?
Yes, because TTRPGs are about yes and we enjoy ourselves with every nat one and strange thing. It'll be fun for me. Gonna hold on to that. So you are able to parkour. I'm not gonna say like that acrobatics was enough to get you there with some wobbling. Not gonna lie. There's some definite wobbling, teetering, getting to the next piece of furniture just in time. I want to say you get almost. What is your movement? Your full movement?
Let's see. Walking is 30 feet.
Okay, difficult to use acrobatics. You get a good, I want to say, 25 feet forward. When you all hear it rushing before you see the effects, and it's sort of like all of those videos that have been flooding my timeline of the people deciding to go out in a hurricane and you randomly see a small child look like they've been blown by the wind off frame, whether it's staged or not. There is a gust of wind that just radiates from that wall of cubicles. I need you to give me a strength saving throw, please.
Oof. 8.
Okay, not gonna do it. You all see Pluck crawling and flipping and jumping and getting halfway to the goal, and then you see Pluck blown back a good 10 feet by this gust of wind. You take no damage though, but it is definitely a hindrance, as a nice way to put that. Is there anything else you would like to do on your turn?
So nah, we'll just leave it at that. I
Okay.
thought about something, but I thought
So at this point, you're 15 feet, like, into this journey across the room, though. Wasn't for naught. Shelly!
All right, sorry about that. I think I was knocked down from my strength check, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick myself up, and I'm still in my starry form, my astral form. So as a bonus action, I'm gonna go ahead and from the air pluck like a little star constellation and like kick it between my feet a couple times, and then smash it at those guys and do a ranged attack with my starry hacky sack, and see if I can hit him here. All right, that's a 23 on one of these mites and rest. All right, so that should be a D8 plus 4. So I'll do 11 points of damage.
You hit one of the rafts, and you hear, abandon ship, and you see a few are kind of, scattering, but it just hits the middle of that particular raft like a cannonball into the side of a ship. And you see all these tiny mites floating in the water, but no longer together.
All right.
A singular force. There's still some out there, but that one. We had a good run.
I hear you. How high is the water, by the way? Is it like ankle height, knee height, waist height? I mean, how quick is it filling up?
At the end of your turn, it was going to get higher. I'm rolling for it. By now, it's about ankle height. Anything else you would like to do on your turn?
No, That's pretty much it. I just make sure that I'll move as far as I can to get closer to some of these creatures. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my hacky sack attack next time if they're still around.
All right. That brings us to Cypher.
Alrighty. Seeing as how my companions are dispersing with the mites and whatnot, I am simply going to go ahead and try and get the second part of our goal accomplished here, and I'm going to go for one of those cubicles, but I can't do so with all of this difficult terrain in my way, so I'm going to surround myself with an invisible force, and I'm going to use my psi-powered leap ability to jump into the air and gracefully fly through it. I have a flying speed equal to twice my walking speed at the moment.
Sweet.
This will last until the end of my turn, so I have 60 feet flying speed.
Okay.
And I am going to soar towards the cubicle with the scrolls.
But I said it was 60-ish feet away, so that would get you there with not having to deal with the difficult terrain. Is there anything about that ability that... Well, no, they don't even get an attack of opportunity on you because of where you were. Okay, so you can go ahead and get to the other side. Anything else you would like to do with your turn, or would you like to just get over there for now?
Well, that was my bonus action.
Oh, okay.
So I suppose once I'm at the scrolls, I will use my action to begin looking through them and trying to see if I can find what we need here, because I think that might solve our rising water problem if we get our goal accomplished here.
Mm-hmm. Give me an investigate, please.
Investigation. Alrighty. Very good. That's a 24.
Oh, look at those numbers post break. You see that they're all labeled the same, which is tiers. For whatever reason, each one is labeled tiers. Not every scroll is the same. And with that investigate, I said, but it doesn't look like there's any difference between the scrolls that are in these cubicles.
So they all just have the word tears on them?
Without unrolling them, yes, each one is labeled tiers.
Okay. I don't have any capability to detect magic, so I'll just say out loud, they're all labeled tears. Bit odd.
Sarlane looks at you and then looks at the rising water. Tears?
Yeah, if there was a soundtrack, it would be that. If I could, that would be the soundtrack to this whole kind of rising water situation. Anybody can at any time make an intelligence check if you feel confident to try, and I'll give you some cool behind the scenes information on something that could help with this puzzle. But that
14?
Roll with advantage because you got the clue from Cypher over there about tears.
Oh, yeah, no, the 14 will do it. That was a 2.
I was trying. You get the idea that there is a connection between the rising water and the scrolls, and probably selecting a scroll may impact the water rising, either for the best or not. And that brings us, unless Cypher has anything else they want to do, I think Cypher Superman their way across the room and then read the labels. So, okay.
I think that's all I got.
Demevia.
Okay. So I am going to use my bonus action.
Mhm.
I'm going to use Master of Tactics to take the help action. So I'm going to help Sunny with whatever
Okay.
they are planning to do next.
Okay.
So either an ability check or an attack roll, either way you get advantage on it. And then I guess I am going to fly over. I've got 30 feet flying speed, so I'm going to fly in the direction of the scrolls section. Do I think there is any point in firing a crossbow at a raft of mites? It feels like that would not be an effective attack.
You know what? I'm team. Let's try it. See what happens.
Okay, so is there a raft of mites in contact with any of my party at this point?
So there were 3 rafts of mites. One was completely decimated, so there's 2 left. One is floating closer to Sunny. Another one is floating closer to Darlene, and that is what we have at the moment.
Okay, I guess it makes sense thematically if I took the help action with Sunny. I'm going to shoot the mites next to Sunny.
Okay.
This is how I am helping. And that is, I believe, a 14 to hit. No, it's... Oh, hang on. D&D Beyond is doing something weird.
It's bugged up
13.
as a 13. Okay. That just hits. Go ahead and roll damage, please.
Are they close enough to Sunny that I get sneak attack? If they're not within 5 feet, I don't.
Based on what you described, like you moving away to go towards the scrolls, I would say in this particular case, no. Because of the distance that you flew, but a 13 does hit. Okay, 6. That is. And you do fire, and there it does definitely damage the raft, so to speak. You see a chunk of that raft floating off. No, come back! Hold the line, hold.
That's so tragic.
But they are making a good stand, best they can. And
That
that
is me.
All right, it is the insect's turn. So they are going to attempt to get at Sunny again. Does an 18 hit?
18 does not hit.
Wonderful.
Heavy armor.
That's they keep like hitting up against the. I just try the left side. No, that's not. We're sliding off. We're sliding off. This is not the. They're having a rough time of it simply because a mite can't really get through metal armor. It's a exercise in futility. And then the other one is going to try for Sarlane. Does a
Is what?
Sarlane does a 22 hit?
22 would hit, yes.
Alrighty then. And the way that this particular rafting works is almost like they go from floating on top of the water to moving like a sentient tape, like towel up to whatever they can attack. And so there's a swarm of them that makes its way slightly up your leg, and then there's a whole bunch of tiny little nips. As you take 5. Only 10 points of damage,
Ooh,
of piercing damage.
No, only 10.
only 10. Thankfully, only 10.
No, actually, you take
Mm.
flip that 5 because the
Oh.
swarm has been damaged. Yep.
Okay. And it still leaves me with some temporaries.
Yep. I love swarms. Okay. That's going to be their actions as they are doing their best as security. We are back to sunny. The water increases by another few inches. It's about half level now.
So I see everyone bounding across the room and flying and all this stuff, and I'm just kind of slowly trudging along. um, I look down at the mites and says, I I would have left you alone, but you attacked me first. And I just pull out my dagger and just start stabbing at the raft. And I have the help action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that is a 20 to hit.
Oh yeah.
30.
That'll do.
Yeah.
But it's just a dagger, so it's going to be 3 damage. 3 piercing damage.
Okay. What? You sit there and you can't catch, you can't. No, we told you to hold on. As more of the raft is sheared away, and they are definitely less than they were. These poor security might are having a time of it. Is there any other actions that you want to take?
I feel like for now I'm just gonna be on might duty because I'm pretty slow and it's hard for me to get across this room. But do say just let me know if you're in need of any of my magic. But I'm having trouble getting over there. This water is it's kind of rough to get to. Not the most acrobatic person.
Or aquabatic.
And I guess I'll end my turn.
Alrighty then. Now, at this point, I will also allow anybody who wants to make another intelligence check.
Nah, why would we do that?
Also, not the most intelligent person. So.
All right.
Natural 20 for 22.
Nice.
I got a 16.
Natural 19 for 22.
Nice.
What did Shelly get?
16.
Okay. With that, everybody's made some pretty good checks. It pretty much seems kind of not necessarily simple, but insert, tab A into slot B, that you're probably going to have to select a scroll. Might be the right scroll, might be the wrong scroll, but as this water keeps going up, it doesn't seem like the mites are the biggest threat, because again, they're just floating out there. But who knows what else will happen the deeper the water gets. So
You have to admit they are a mighty threat. I had to do it. I'm a dad. I have to make the dad jokes. Sorry, guys. It's in the contract.
please take a point of inspiration.
All right, I will.
For your
I thought it was a point of damage. I was getting ready to mark it down.
No, we all took psychic damage. You're fine.
It's the most damage
To
anybody's done
all
in this game.
the paternal
How many
individuals
points?
out there,
Spread around so much.
that one was for you. Okay. So, we're at Sarlane.
Yes, these might attacked him and did damage. Slap them down.
Everybody's really taking it out on the mites.
Okay, 18 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And they can have 7. And if they're still together, they get a second attack coming.
It is an end of a mighty era, indeed.
No.
Because with this slap of the sword, the raft closest to Sarlane dissipates. The mites disconnect from each other and float out like tiny motes of reverse light on the surface of this water. The group that was still near Sunny witnesses this and just disperses on their own. It's just like a moment. You know what? It's not worth it. We don't even get benefits. It is not worth it. Just
These
see.
mites are on payroll?
Oh, how
second
the
one
mighty
just-
have fallen.
They just disperse. And there are mites still floating on the surface of the water, but they're not a force to be reckoned with. See you next Tuesday, right? The birthday party. I'll see you there. All right. As they dissipate. And now it's just the water and the scroll. Is there anything else you wanted to do, Sarlane, before we move to Pluck?
Move to a location where I can get to scrolls, but I've already used my action, so I'll start picking scrolls when it swings back around, unless that's. But for the moment, yeah, no, I'm done. I just wanted to get rid of the threat.
Pluck, it's at you.
All right. Well, I will make another attempt to parkour my way back across the room.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I will use the Pinku recall.
Mm-hmm.
Give myself advantage on that. There's the button. Oh, started off with a nat 19.
Okay.
And so that will be a 25.
You make it all the way across that room, leaping from one piece to another piece and so on. It's not the most graceful of journeys because again, it's choosing each piece and getting to the next one, and this one's wobbling. But you make it to the wall where a Cypher also is at this time, and where everybody else seems to be journeying.
All right. When I get up to him, I'm going to grab one of the first scrolls and see what it's about.
Go ahead and roll me a d6, please.
5.
Thankfully, you were all the way across the room already, but the wind in this room starts kicking up. The water starts getting those little ripples in it when the wind starts blowing too hard. If people's hair isn't pulled back or out of the way, it would be going crazy at this time, just blowing in the wind. As there seems to be gusts of wind blowing all throughout this particular room. Nobody has to make any checks at this time. As you pull that scroll, are you going to read it to everyone, show it to someone? What are you going to unravel it,
I
or just
will
leave it rolled up?
unravel it and show it to the tall person.
When you unravel it with the wind blowing, so the piece of parchment is sort of also kind of denting in and out and so on. And then all of a sudden, there's a stillness in the room. There's the soft sound of sobbing in the background, and then a soft voice. Our love was the love of panes of glass, stained blue as the sky and green as the grass. We tried to fit these pieces to filter the radiance of our passion. Our lives were the rays of light shining from the sun, and of our winds and the cold moon of our challenges. Through this window, time as a spectator, cruel and judgmental one. Every argument was a crack on the surface reflecting our growth, and it could not withstand the pressure from us both. Shattered, I carry the shards in my pocket, like the hair in a locket. And the piece of scroll just kind of radiates and glows, and the sound of sobbing increases. And then there is a sudden plane shift, and you are out of the watery room into an area that looks like a library. There's, different landings with different shelves of books. There's carpet, and stuff looks like it's cleaned. Um, and you have that one scroll that you were holding suddenly seems like a stack of papers, and everybody make a quick dexterity check for me to see if people can catch all these different papers that start to appear once you all shift out the room.
14.
Hey, nat 20.
I
Also
caught a cold.
14.
Also nat 20 for 24.
A 9.
6.
You got under a 10, like you try to get a couple of pages, but they kind of escape your grasp. The other people help get the pages and put them, and it's like a registry. The different pages you gather seem to be pages of a registry. There's different family names, and there's dates, and there's births recorded, and there are marriage dates recorded, little notes, little sketchings apparently of people's pictures. A happy couple there, expressionless looking individual holding a shovel on another page, but it all seems to be this large registry. Um, and there are hundreds of pages that suddenly just start appearing once you shift to this new room.
I kind of store them inside this leather binding that I'm carrying. Do they magically attach to it, or do they just sort of stack up inside it?
It looks like the binding is big enough to fit all the pages as you're gathering them, but it's not holding together magically as of yet. And you hear a clearing of a throat. You do not see anybody. I do not believe any of you have a library card. How did you get here?
We were let in by the specter at the front desk.
Back At the front desk long have I longed to look upon my sweet Violetta. Was it Violetta?
She seemed
did
to
we
be quite
get
a
a-
lot of different people. Face kept changing.
We didn't get a name, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Just a shh.
I think she was the substitute library or substitute front desk.
Yes. Mentioned something about a vacation, I think. Filling in.
Pluck's got an idea. He's gonna get out his entertainer's pack and grab the supplies and start doing himself up. And he's gonna assemble a disguise as best he can to look like the lady from the front desk and just present himself.
Oh, that looks like Mariah. Then you have somebody else. No, you're so full of yourself that you're always so certain. That is obviously Valeria. No, I know my face. That. What is a name? Don't start. You're so full of your own ego constantly. That's why Violetta left you. How do you know? Because I was there. I am you, and you are. Go back and forth. The voice is only a little bit different.
Pluck is going to clear his throat, adjust whatever semblance of glasses he has towards the end of his beak, and try to duplicate the stare that the specter gave them when they first appeared.
And you see, walking between, like out from between two bookshelves, a la dramatic reveal. An older gen, not current idea of what emo is, but old school Ichabod Crane emo. Pale, dark hair pulled back, but not pale in a fair of skin way, pale in a aged, sort of grayish way. Suit dusty, and is probably decades old. Hands worn and weathered, but still clutching desperately a quill. Looks at each person. The library must like you. Most people don't make it this far.
Would you be a fellow by any chance?
Yes, I am a fellow. Frightful and fallowed as I may be, I am indeed a fellow.
We're looking to assemble this book. It's in a good cause. We're trying to help some nice young people get married. At any rate, Sarlane said they were nice. Sarlane, you said they were nice, right?
Lovely young couple. Lovely young couple.
Everyone make an insight check.
Hmm.
Who should?
Everybody make an insight
Everyone?
check. Mhm.
2. 10.
Roll a 23.
Nice.
21.
Mm.
9.
Kelly's
What else
must
we got?
stars.
Okay. Those of you who got above a 16, you notice the moment that someone mentions people getting married, there's sort of a closed off expression, kind of like a distancing expression,
Mm.
as this fellow sniffs delicately and turns their nose up. What business is it of mine if two people wish to be wed? What book could possibly help prepare you for the fresh pain of heartbreak?
Well, actually, it's more of a tome of records that the courts would use to confirm that the marriage is even possible. Not really
Should
like
it
a
matter?
yes.
My Violetta had no book. My Violetta had only her amazing legacy. But now, do I let her memory stand? And it just goes through this whole, like, it should have been a monologue, but it turns into like a soliloquy really quickly. As he gets stuck in his own sort of situation and then looks at you all. To make a book, you need to bind it. Does anyone here have book binding experience? No,
Not me.
nobody.
No.
Okay, well,
Something with glue, maybe. I think.
I have the mending spell, but I think fixing something is different than binding something.
so here comes the he disappears for a moment and comes back with like glue and thread and a whole bunch of stuff and puts it on a table. If you care so much about the impending nuptials of this mystery couple, I am not presuming to be petty. I just do not believe in passion without purpose. And so I propose that you all prepare this for these people that I don't know. Turns up their nose and then kind of not prances, not drags their feet, but just dramatically stalks back into the book stacks from whence they came. And before you, you have all the bookbinding materials and the book and the pages. What you want to do?
Well, is anyone good with their hands, I suppose?
I'm pretty good on sleight of hand, so if that carries over, I guess I am good at stitching. Probably do with somebody a bit more intelligent than me to figure out what order these pages go in.
I could probably help with that.
Okay.
While
So
everybody's
he-
discussing what they're going to do, Pluck is just gonna stack everything on top of each other to see if it magically does anything.
Okay.
As I settle down and thread a needle, I just look over at Shelley and go, by the way, how are you so calm? Because I would really like to be calm right now.
I'll pass you a bag of my secret smoke.
It's the incense he
It'll
comes to
mellow
town
you out.
for.
And who's gonna be putting the book together?
So this is going to be a joint roll, everyone. I want to go to each person and ask them what skill or even a spell or an ability would they like to contribute towards the end goal of getting this book bound. Then based on how everyone does in that particular role, I will then get to narrate for all to see how exactly this went, whether or not you have something presentable to give back to the people who sent you on this mission. So we'll start with Sarlane. What skill or ability do you want to contribute?
Starlene is, though a martial, type, he is trained in history and a little over 200 years old. I imagine he's read and handled many, many books, though he's never learned the arts of binding. I think history is going to be the skill he should probably try to lean on.
Okay. Shelley.
Yeah. I'm just going to like start chanting and sending positive vibes to everybody, using guidance to like help our group, have a good result and send out like all the positive energy.
Okay.
Only good vibes, man.
And what rule would you use for that?
It's just guidance. I really all my other
Guidance,
rules
okay.
suck, so yeah. It's a spell.
Okay. Guidance. All right. Okay. Demivia.
I would like to use sleight of hand to attempt to dexterously stitch this book back together.
Okay. All right. Cipher.
I would like to use investigation to make sure that all of the pages are in their proper order.
Okay. Investigation. Sorry, y'all. I'm over here doing math. That works. That works. Pluck.
So, Pluck, being an entertainer, has played many roles in his days, and he is going to call upon his experience during a play called The Lay of Jordanus, which is a very moving play about an elderly bookbinder who finds himself at the end of his life, who never found love because of his passion for bookbinding. And he is going to give a performance to give inspiration to Demivia as she is trying to get into that vein of bookbinding.
Okay. As a performance or?
Yes, as a performance.
Okay.
And with the Kinku recall, do that with advantage for 24. And then giving her the bardic inspiration.
All right. And Sunny.
If I can cast a spell, I would I'll cast enhance ability.
Okay.
And I can give someone advantage on their roll.
Okay.
I mean, if it.
Yes, this works. So let me
Yeah.
add this up
Okay.
and see what the total needs to be in order to bind this book. And as you all are discussing how you're going to put it together, how's all the different characters feeling? Like, what's going through their minds?
Honestly, Demivia is still having flashbacks to the bit where we were at the front door and somebody owned a crowbar and somebody else pulled a bar off with their hands because we weren't talking to each other.
That's fair. Okay. Who else we got with some thoughts?
I think Sunny only like 50% understands what's going on and just kind of going through the motions, but he's having fun.
Okay. Fun
Yep.
is good.
I'm just totally. Shelley is just totally like sitting on the ground. He's got his feet crossed, and he's like hitting his drum, little rhythm, and humming and trying to send out like positive vibes to everybody and being really mellow, just trying to calm everybody.
Okay. Anybody
Cypher
else?
is sort of quietly lamenting how this should have been a pretty simple, easy, straightforward job, and he's having so much trouble with it today for some reason.
Doing a wonderful job. Just doing a wonderful job. Okay.
Darlene is watching the efforts going on, and he's got a real sense of hope for this to work, so that the young couple that wants to be married can be. He seems really invested in it. So hope.
That is wonderful. So, Starlane, give me that history check, please.
Certainly. $17.
17. Then we're going to add guidance to that. So how much does guidance give to a roll?
Is that another D4?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yep. So I think it was Shelly who said they were going to give guidance.
Yep.
So what was that, D4?
Yes.
So go ahead and add another D4 to the roll, please.
Ready?
Another 2, that gives 19 then.
19. All right. Demivia, we have that sleight of hand.
Did we establish who's getting advantage from enhanceability?
Does anybody else have another? I'm actually going to allow enhanceability to be used for each of you all who are doing a roll because of what we're doing here. So that enhanceability would apply to your sleight of hand.
And I was also giving her inspiration.
And there you got inspiration as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a 30. What size is your Bardic Inspiration die?
D4
D4.
D4?
for the guidance.
For the guidance.
Sorry.
Seems a little.
I say inspiration is a D8.
So that's a total of 32 on the sleight of hand.
Cool. That's some good stitching. All right. The investigation roll.
All right. And I have advantage on this as well because of the enhanceability. Alrighty. In that case, it's okay. A 23.
Okay.
Did you need a second roll in the history as well?
Yes, please.
First one was better. Okay.
All right. Performance.
Ooh, nat 20.
Okay.
Hey.
Nice.
I know it's not a B now.
So we are in a good place.
A natural B.
Natty B.
Okay. So let me paint this picture. Let me explain what happens. You all come together to help put this book together. This book of records that has such an importance in the culture and community of Ambic. This book that helps people determine whether or not two people can be married, and whether it makes sense to people outside the community. It doesn't matter because it meant so much to both of the young people who are attempting this marriage. You have the person who understands the history, can even help make some corrections in the order that some of the pages needed to go, and so on. You have Shelley creating the vibes necessary for creative work. You have Demivia over there with such a steady hand, however that works for Owlins, with
I
this
think they have
needle.
hands and wings.
Yeah, it's an interesting mental picture. It always makes me head tilt and smile. But such steady hands here. The investigation came into handy to make sure again the pages are in the right order before they get permanently stitched or glued. That performance pulls Clive Fellows himself out of the stacks to witness this amazing work of art. And he has tears coming down his cheeks, right, as he just watches this. And a little piece of his heart heals just a little bit by watching this. And you see, the library looks a little less gray, a little less dusty, a little less smelly. And then you have Sunny offering that consistent support, enhancing abilities, doing what Sunny does best, providing protection in a variety of different ways. And at the end, you've got this really well-bound tome of records ready to take with you. And there's a shift, again, a plane shift, and you find yourself in that first room again with that singular desk. And you all are holding your book, and the front desk individuals. So, looks like you found what you were looking for. This is so amazing. We will send a messenger to you in 3 to 5 days to ask how your experience was. You can choose to participate in this survey if you wish. Just say no to opt out when the animal messenger approaches you. I have stored your waivers into a particular filing cabinet. They are now any damage that happens to you because of the library, for whatever reason, whether it's after effects or unforeseen circumstances, we will take full responsibility for because you have accomplished your task. And you see, there's sunlight coming into the room that wasn't coming into that room before when you were first here. Now, I don't mean to be rude. I appreciate your patronage, but if you could please leave, I think we have a cleaning team of invisible servants that will be. What? I'm here. Apparently, the boss. We're going to be closed for renovation, so you need to leave. Oh, we're getting rid of the second floor because of water damage. Been damaged for 25. Yes, if you all could
Yes.
just go ahead and leave.
You might want to call an insect exterminator as well while you're at it. There are quite a few water mites on that level.
Oh, yes, the mites, delightful little creatures. Always bring the best things to the potlucks. Too small for anybody else to consume, but definitely a hit every time with themselves. I don't eat because I am spectral. Have a wonderful rest of your day. So there's a a gust of wind, and she vanishes from sight.
I just stand there and say, Clyde, if you're listening, maybe just apologise to her. Couldn't hurt. And then I leave.
And when
Oh,
you
job well done, everyone. And as a bonus action, I'll flip my cape over my shoulder and I'll activate my Cape of Billowing. that flutters dramatically as I stand triumphant.
you hear the shutters like in an upstairs window slam shut when the cape starts billowing, and seriously, they call me dramatic. As you all make your way back to town, Ambig is overjoyed to have this tone. You all do get seats at the wedding and the reception, which lasts for 3 days. It is a wonderful celebration of love and light and laughter, and the lengths that people will go to hold on to love, all types of love, whether it's platonic, romantic, or so on. And you realize that words are so important because they paint the pictures that capture these types of moments. And that is what poetry in practice looks like. I want to thank you all for playing. I want to be respectful of our time. So I know we have a couple of minutes. If people want to tell people who you are and where you find you, we'll go ahead and go around to each person and then say our goodbyes. And I'll start with Luke. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, hey, I had a wonderful time. Thank you for DMing for us. It was a great story. Enjoyed the dynamic. Thank you for putting up with my band puns. I am Luke Gygax. If you want to find me on social media, you can find me at Luke Gygax. If you want to come to GaryCon, a wonderful convention, celebrates the life of my father, Gary Gygax, co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons, in March of every year in our hometown of Lake City, Wisconsin, GaryCon.com. And if you want to follow me and my publishing, just go to Gaxworks with all X's, GAXXWORX.com, and check out what I'm doing there. That's it. Thanks, guys.
All right. And then we will go to each one of our other players. Let's go to Johnny, aka Cerulean Rex.
Thank you very much, honey. The way to get a hold of me is on Twitter. I'm at Cerulean_Rex, CERULEAN_REX. And that's pretty much where you can find me on Facebook and Discord. And I'd like to say thank you for the wonderful game and the wonderful narrative, beautiful pictures you painted. And that's it for me.
All right. Distortion Devil.
All right. I'd like to parrot the sentiment. Thank you for DMing for us. It was a lovely little game. I'm Distortion Devil. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.com/Distortion Devil. I stream Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. You can also find me on Twitch.tv/The Unexpectables, where me and a bunch of friends have an ongoing campaign. We just wrapped up our first 5-year-long, 200-episode-long campaign. We've just started our second one. So you can check that out every Wednesday. Twitch.tv/The Unexpectables.
Nice.
It's
Wonderful.
Friday afternoon.
Oh, Alexa.
Celebrate the start of the weekend with your Alexa routine. Hope you have a good one.
Almost.
Every
I
Friday at
thought
5
that-
o'clock.
Okay, I thought that was me. I was like, oh no. Okay. Right. T1J.
Yeah. I just want to say that was fun. Thanks for having me. T1J. You can follow me on Twitter at the one janitor. You can also check out my YouTube channel, which is also called T1J. That's all I got.
Alrighty then. And our second person, and I just want to say this as we go to Jane. Thank you so much to Jane and Johnny, Camilla, and Cerulean Rex for donating and coming and joining us today. It was wonderful to have you, and I know everyone is so very appreciative. But Jane, go ahead and tell people who you are and how they can find you.
Hi, so I'm Jane, and I'm going to do a quick plug because I'm currently writing a TTRPG. It's called Peace and Retribution. It's sort of like Criminal Minds in a City of Mist engine. So if that sounds like your thing, follow me at Carmilla, that's CARMILLA 99 UK on Twitter, because I'm going to be looking for beta testers very soon. And thanks so much for having me. It's been a really lovely game, and it's been a blast playing with you all.
Thank you so much. Drunken Bard.
Thank you, honey, for running. That was an amazing game. I loved everything that you did with that and had a great time. If anybody wants to check me out, I'm mostly just a shit poster. I occasionally do some art and stuff. You can find all my socials at drunkenbard.com. I mostly post on Facebook, occasionally on Twitter.
All right. And thank you to everyone who is working behind the scenes to keep this up and running, adjust the audio, do the video, put everybody together, pulled me in with an invitation that surprised me. We're patient with all of us as we work through all of the technical kinks of everything, and really for just putting this wonderful thing together. I'm big fans of all the organizations involved in this effort in this particular event, and I'm so happy that I got to be a part of it this year. I'm Honey, aka Honey and Dice. I run games, I write games, I play games, but mostly I'm just everyone's biggest cheerleader. And if I can leave you with anything today, it's a reminder to love your you, to remember that it's okay to be okay, and it's okay to not be okay. Surround yourself with people that celebrate your successes and support you through your challenges. If they're not there or are only there for one of those situations, they weren't there for you to start with. But I want to be there for you. I know that my world is a better place simply because you exist in it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stick around for other events involving Everyone Games. And if you want to see or talk to me, I'm on Twitter at Honey and Dice. Have a wonderful rest of your time.
Bye, everybody.